વસે ગુજરાતી, ત્યાં ત્યાં વસે ગુજરાત. હે જ્યાં જ્યાં વસે ગુજરાતી, ત્યાં ત્યાં વસે ગુજરાત. અમે ગુજરાતી લહેરીલા, દિલમાં ક્રિકેટ દિન રાત. ખરા ક્રિકેટના રસિક છો તો ક્રિકેટ કેરી વાત જાણીએ. ચોકા છક્કાની ગુગલી જોઈએ, હાલો વર્લ્ડ કપની મજા માણીએ. આ છે ક્રિકેટ ખીચડી, ચાલો રમીએ થોડી. સવાલોના બાઉન્સર, જવાબોની સિક્સર. આ ક્રિકેટ ખીચડી, ચાલો રમીએ થોડી. સવાલોના બાઉન્સર, જવાબોની સિક્સર. કોની બેટિંગની ખુમારી, કોની બોલિંગ વખાણું. જબરા કે ચિસ વિન મેચિસ, સ્ટમ્પ આઉટમાં કોણ ફસાણું. હોય જો તમે ક્રિકેટનો હીરો, તો આમ સાથે કોમેન્ટ્રી કરીએ. બનાવી આ ક્રિકેટની ખીચડી, સ્વાદથી એની મજા માણીએ. આ છે ક્રિકેટ ખીચડી, ચાલો રમીએ થોડી. સવાલોના બાઉન્સર, જવાબોની સિક્સર. આ ક્રિકેટ ખીચડી, ચાલો રમીએ થોડી. સવાલોના બાઉન્સર, જવાબોની સિક્સર.
અમેરિકાની અંદર ક્રિકેટના જે રસિકો અને પ્રેમીઓ છે એમાંથી ભાગ્યે જ એવું કોઈ હશે જેણે જતીન પટેલનું નામ સાંભળ્યું નહીં હોય. જતીન પટેલ એ પ્રખ્યાત મલ્ટી સ્પોર્ટ કોચ, મેન્ટોર અને પ્રોફેશનલ સ્પોર્ટ પરફોર્મન્સ એનાલિસ્ટ છે. ક્રિકેટ અને સોકરમાં એમણે કોચિંગ 3 દાયકાથી ચાલુ રાખ્યું છે અને અમેરિકાની અંદર યુએસએ ક્રિકેટમાં ઘણી બધી એડમિનિસ્ટ્રેટિવ રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટીઝ પણ એમણે સંભાળી છે. ક્રિકેટ ખીચડીના એક કો ફાઉન્ડર છે અને આ શોના પેનલિસ્ટ પણ છે. જતીન પટેલ.
ડૉક્ટર નિલેશ ડી મહેતા શિકાગોમાં મેડિસિન વિભાગના પ્રોફેસર અને છેલ્લા 30 વર્ષથી કેન્સરના નિષ્ણાત ડૉક્ટર છે. તે વડોદરાના વતની છે, પણ ક્રિકેટમાં તેમનો જુસ્સો હંમેશા રહ્યો છે. આઈસીસીના પ્રમાણિત ક્રિકેટ સંવાદદાતા તરીકે તેમણે 10 વર્ષથી વધુ સમયથી હાઈ ઇન્ડિયા પ્રકાશન માટે આઈસીસીની ઇન્ટરનેશનલ ટુર્નામેન્ટ્સ કવરેજ કરી છે. 2013માં તેઓ યુએસએના કેરમ ડબલ્સના નેશનલ ચેમ્પિયન પણ હતા. તેમના કેટલાક લેખો સ્પોર્ટ્સ સ્ટારમાં પ્રકાશિત થયા છે. તે આઈપીએલનું એનાલિસિસ અને ક્રિકેટ 360 માટે ઇન્ટરવ્યૂ પણ કરે છે.
અર્ચન મહેતા કેલિફોર્નિયામાં એન્જિનિયર છે અને 3 માસ્ટર્સની ડિગ્રી મેળવી ચૂક્યા છે. છેલ્લા 20 વર્ષોથી એન્જિનિયરિંગના ફિલ્ડમાં એમણે કન્ઝ્યુમર ઇલેક્ટ્રોનિક્સ અને ટેકનોલોજી કંપનીઝમાં કામ કર્યું છે. એન્જિનિયરિંગ સિવાય અર્ચનને બીજા પણ ઘણા બધા શોખ છે, જેમ કે સિંગિંગ, ડ્રામેટિક આર્ટ્સ અને મ્યુઝિક. વડોદરાના વતની છે ઓરિજિનલી અને હવે કેલિફોર્નિયામાં સ્થાયી થયેલા છે. ક્રિકેટનો શોખ એમને નાનપણથી હતો અને હજી પણ છે. ગરબામાં પણ એમને પુષ્કળ રસ છે. ક્રિકેટ 360 નામના પોડકાસ્ટમાં એ લીડ પેનલિસ્ટ પણ છે અને હાલમાં એમણે યુએસએ ક્રિકેટ અમ્પાયરિંગ લેવલ 1નું સર્ટિફિકેશન પણ મેળવ્યું છે. અર્ચન મહેતા. ક્રિકેટ ખીચડીમાં આપ સૌનું સ્વાગત છે. આજે આપણી જોડે એક ખાસ મહેમાન છે. ખાસ મહેમાન એટલે આપણે અમદાવાદી ભાષામાં કહીએ તો એમ કે બોસ સોલિડ મહેમાન છે. ફારૂકભાઈ માણેકશા એન્જિનિયર. હવે ફારૂકભાઈ માટે હું શું કહું ને શું ના કહું. 1965માં ઇન્ડિયન ક્રિકેટર ઓફ ધ યર હતા. 1966માં સાહેબ ફારૂકભાઈએ લંચ પહેલા વેસ્ટ ઇન્ડિઝ સામે મદ્રાસમાં ઓલમોસ્ટ સેન્ચુરી ઠોકી હતી. અને લંચ પછી એમણે જે 6 રન બાકી હતા એ કર્યા હતા. પણ સાહેબ સેન્ચુરી વેસ્ટ ઇન્ડિઝના ફાસ્ટ બોલર સામે કરવી એ જમાનામાં વોઝ અનબિલિવેબલ. 1971માં જે આપણે ફેમસ ઓવલની આપણી જે મેચ જીત્યા ઇન્ડિયા, જેમાં ચંદ્રશેખરે બધું કર્યું, પણ સાહેબ ફારૂકભાઈનો ફાળો એમાં જબરદસ્ત હતો. એમની પહેલી ઇનિંગમાં 59 કર્યા હતા અને સેકન્ડ ઇનિંગમાં સાહેબ 28 નોટ આઉટ. વિશ્વનાથ સાહેબ જોડે એમની પાર્ટનરશિપ હતી ને એ જોરદાર હતી. એટલે 1971માં સાહેબનો ફાળો જોરદાર હતો. અને એના પછી 1973માં સાહેબને પદ્મશ્રી એવોર્ડ પણ આપવામાં આવ્યો. ક્રિકેટ ખીચડીમાં મારી સાથે જતીનભાઈ પટેલ અને અર્ચન મહેતા સાથે ફારૂકભાઈ આપનું હાર્દિક સ્વાગત છે. વી આર પ્રિવિલેજ્ડ, very proud of you, and we are very pleased to welcome you on Cricket Khichdi.
Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. It's my privilege, and I'm very proud to be associated with. I'm very fond of khichdi, as you know, as you can see from my size. So it's a lovely name you've given your program.
હવે
We'll
તમારે
make it as enjoyable as possible, as informative as possible for all our viewers and listeners.
હવે ખીચડી તો જતીનભાઈ મેં અને અર્ચને પકાવી છે. હવે તમારે એમાં આજે ઘી નાખવાનું છે અને આપણે જેટલી સ્વાદિષ્ટ બનાવીએ એની
Well,
મજા લઈએ.
you mentioned about the opening against the West Indies. I had never opened the innings before, but Dani, I can't use the word.
ફાટી હતી.
Well, you said it absolutely right, because nobody wanted to open the innings against, because those who opened were in hospital, with skull fractures and fractured shoulders, because they made it very clear they love seeing blood on batsmen's faces. એટલે Farooq to open kar innings. મેં કહું ભલે. In fact, it was a way of dropping me. I be unsuccessful thase. Because politics played a horrible part in our time. So you had to fight for your place. I mean, which is very good. And I think that proved in my favor, because I was even more determined. I said to myself, because they can only bowl one ball at a time. I've got a bat in my hand, they've got a ball. Chalo karo. And we didn't have any helmets or any arm pads or any rubber pimple batting gloves, which is, I mean, if the ball hit you anywhere on your body, it was like a fracture, for sure. If it hit you on your head, it was game, set, and match. Gaya, Ram Bharosa.
Right.
So, I mean, there was no place for you to get hurt by the ball. All you had to do was get the ball on your bat. And you got a bat so made like Brook Bonna China Dabba Jo. Aajkal the bats miss hits go for sixes.
સાચી વાત છે.
Edges go for sixes. Hamara time to patiya hota, the very small sweet spot. You had to hit it on that very small sweet spot to hit it for a 4 or a 6. Anywhere else you would, tomorrow bat tuti jate against that pace. And those bowlers bowled well over 100 miles per hour. Aaj to koi 100 kilometers per hour bowling kare chhe, so they get all excited. 140 kilometers, They bowled all those guys, and there was no limit on bouncers or beamers. આજકાલ તો one up bouncer is allowed, 2 bounce, umpire tells them. They had free for all. Now, our team there was nobody to bowl bouncers at them. Eknath Solka, our opening bowler. And I used to stand up to him, or Abid Ali,
Right.
There was no fast bowlers. So we were at the receiving end all the time. So I'm not trying to say what a brave man I am or something, but people should understand the sequence of this.
No, I think,
just imagine the picture. Those guys were fearsome fast bowlers, and out of them, 2 of them were chuckers in Charlie Griffith and Roy Gilchrist. A Lambo run-up play, there was no follow-through at all. I mean, it's fake, but throwing is an art. Elbow pavilion mein pahunchi jaye. These guys, through all their lives, they played beach cricket, you see. The beach cricket mein avi hame 16 number boliye. They used to throw the ball, and when a bowler chucks a bouncer, it skids at you, right? On over 100 miles per hour, it skids at you. Now, bowler bounce kare, at least there's an even height of going. So it makes it even more difficult to play chukkers. And Charlie Griffith and Roy Gilchrist were known to be chukkers, but no one dare call them, because of political correctness and all sorts of things. So, I mean, that was the scenario against the West Indies. So they were, without a doubt, the world champions.
Right.
Having that and having class batsmen like Gary Sobers and Viv Richards and Clive Lloyd and all these guys. So it was a one-win situation. Just 1 second.
What
My
kind of
daughter's
dog? What kind of dog do you have, Farooq bhai?
Well, we've got a Shih Tzu from my daughter Scarlett, who's in Dubai, and my daughter Roxanne. They've got a mixture of some poodle, બધું.
No, we
Anyway.
हमारे ત્યાં Chicago we have a golden doodle named Sonu. કારણ કે golden છે ને, એટલે golden એટલે we named her.
Chalo, very
Sonu.
nice, very nice.
પણ please.
This is going to America. I have a daughter who lives in Miami.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Is
He's
that
got her own recruitment company. Yeah.
Is that Tina?
Tina is in Miami, correct.
Miami, right.
I've got 4 daughters.
તમારી બે દીકરી અમેરિકામાં?
નહીં, એક દીકરી અમેરિકામાં, એક દીકરી દુબઈમાં છે.
બરાબર.
Scarlett. Roxanne is with us, and Mina is my eldest daughter. Minnie, my mother's name was Minnie, but when she was very sadly dying at a pretty young age at the Tata Memorial Hospital in Bombay, I was by her bedside. I was called over from a cricket match, Ranji Trophy cricket match, and I was by her bedside all night. Naturally, she wasn't going to survive the night, I was told, and in the middle of the night, she put her hand on my head and said, "Don't cry, son. Don't be sad. I promise you I'll come back as your first child." So when the Queen gave me the news of my first child's birth, do you know the Queen gave me the news?
Right.
Rani, I don't know if you read my book or whatever. This is one of my 3 books altogether. This is one of my books. Have you seen that?
હા, મેં જોઈ છે. મેં વાંચી નથી, પણ મેં જોઈ છે ખરી. Yes.
This is one of my books. Another one here. Anyway.
પણ એમ કે એ જે લોકોને ખબર ના હોય કે ઇંગ્લેન્ડની ક્વીને ફારૂકભાઈને સમાચાર આપ્યા કે ફારૂકભાઈને દીકરી આવી.
It was the first morning of the Lord's Test match. And it's customary. On the first morning of the Lord's Test match, the Queen always comes to the, to the long room at Lord's.
બરાબર.
And shakes hands with all the players, introduces them. If it's not raining, we're outside the pavilion. If it's raining, we're inside the pavilion. And I had met the Queen before because at various functions and all that, and I've toured England before also, So first time when you meet the Queen, you call her Your Majesty. But after the first time, you call her ma'am always.
Okay.
So there was a Billy Griffith kind of secretary of MCC. And we were staying at a hotel called Clarendon Court, which was just outside Lord's, just 100 yards from Lord's. So they got a telegram those days. So the telegram was sent to the hotel, and the hotel thinking it could be urgent news, they sent it to Lord's, And the secretary opened the telegram thinking it could be either good or bad news or what. When he saw that it was regarding the birth of my daughter, he gave it to the Queen, who came to me and said, "They call you engineer. They don't call you Farooq," which is the most annoying part of it. I wish they would call either Mr. Engineer or Farooq or something. But as an engineer, "I've got some wonderful news for you," she said to me. So I knew my wife was expecting any day. I said, "What's it, a boy or a girl, ma'am?" Then she smiled and said, "Well, what did you want? What do you want?" I said, "A girl," because my mother had told me that, that I'll come back. And she said, "Well, you've got one," she said,
How
and
nice.
that's Minnie was my mother's name. So
Right.
She's called Minnie.
That is an amazing story. હવે
Yes.
ફારૂકભાઈ, તમારા પપ્પા ડોક્ટર, તમારે
Yes.
એક જમાનામાં પાયલટ થવું હતું અને તમારી અટક એન્જિનિયર, પણ તમે થયા ક્રિકેટર. હવે
શું
એ
કરે
જે
હવે?
તમારી જર્ની હતી એ હાઉ ડીડ ગોઈંગ બેક ટુ યોર ચાઇલ્ડહુડ એન્ડ wanting to become something, you became something.
Right. Right.
તમારા
I was
ગુજરાત
born in a place called Dadar Parsi colony.
બરાબર.
My dad was a doctor. Dr. Maneksha is my father's name. After my father's name, Vache Mukhiya, that's why Farokh Maneksha Engineer. It's not my second name. But out
Right.
of respect, we put our father's name. Uh, so dad was a doctor with Tatas for many years, and we were just middle class family, not from a rich. We were comfortable, My father was based at a place called Bhivpuri, where there was a big Tata power station, and that was infested with leopards and panthers. Just Khandala, Lonavala, Agal. There was no proper highways or anything like that. So jungles. And this power station was right in the middle of the forest. With the result, panthers, a lot of panthers used to actually come in the apna dustbins, and like in America, in certain parts, you get bears coming there,
Right.
So these panthers were quite frequently seen crossing the road or something, and there were not many cars there. So, and snakes, cobras. I remember my mom said once I was playing on the lawn, on a thing with my toys, and our cobra was right, big cobra, king cobra, was right next to me. And as the cobra was nodding its head, I was like nodding my head with the snake, playing with him,
Oh my
without
God.
realizing. And the servants saw that, and they wanted to run and kill the snake. But she said, no, but the snake just put his head down and crept back to the woods in the end of our garden very slowly. And the servants tried to run after to kill him. My mother said, no, don't hurt him. He has not hurt my son, So, these were the things I heard from my parents. Now, whenever there was a man-eater, the panther, panther used to take little children or cattle and all that, But koi bhi child, later that becomes a man-eater. So that means he's tasted human flesh. So he'll come for more. So they had to be destroyed. And my father was the only one with a gun, shikar. I used to go with my father on the treetop,
Oh.
Nalani Bajuma.
Huh.
Now, when the panther used to come to drink water at night, and they used to tie a bait, goat or something like that, And it was frightening to hear in the middle of the night. My dad used to say, don't even breathe. I must have been about 2 or 3 or 4 years old. And it was such an experience for me. You could hear the panthers actually footsteps in the, thing, and the goat going berserk with the thing. But before he could reach the goat, my dad was a crack shot. Only one shot, because, and then we couldn't come back down the tree because the panther could be injured or something like that. So we had to wait all night on the treetop. In the morning, the beaters would come, the villagers, and then they would see the blood of that man-eater, panther, and then we used to come down the tree. And I used to go and sit on that panther, gun lena, wag lena, ke main wag mariyo kai. I was a bloody show-off from day one, and I think that personified in my wicket keeping or my batting. I used to love the big time. I used to love the limelight. I used to love the big occasion. The greater the occasion, the better was my performance, really, usually. So, I was brought up, cricket, and I went to a school called Don Bosco. But my dad was transferred back to Bombay, after the Bhivpuri days. So I went to Don Bosco School. And my best friend, my classmate, benchmate, was an actor called Shashi Kapoor, much before your time.
Right.
He was a really good-looking guy.
Of course.
I'm a French teacher with a Mr. Lobo Karine. And he used to throw those heavy wooden dusters to students, anyone who's chatting away at the back. The Shashi the Gappa Martara on the last bench. And from the corner of my eye, I saw this huge wooden duster being hurtled right towards Shashi's face. And I think just a matter of reflex, I just stuck my hand out. And I think that's the first slip catch I've ever taken, right? Centimeters from Shashi's face. And I used to
Very
joke
nice.
with him, "Sala tera ko daku ka role milta tha," as the duster hit you. Because he was a real good-looking guy, you know. I don't know if you remember Shashi Kapoor.
Of
You know,
course.
Raj Kapoor, Shami Kapoor, Shashi Kapoor. Shashi was the youngest.
Right.
And we used to live nearby each other. And so Shashi and I were very close friends right from kindergarten till Bandhani Dandigai 10th standard, because it was a Catholic school. Cricket was not at all. They wanted football, hockey, and athletics. So I used to play football. I used to play hockey. I used to be athletics, cycling, race, sports. You know, I was very sports-minded, but there was no cricket at school. But see, later on, when I scored my fastest century, the same principal, Father McFarren Kanuto, you know, Irish father, cricket no koi banne na. But he was of Don Bosco in Chennai, in Madras. The students told him that Farooq Engineer is in Chennai. Can he call him to the school tomorrow? You know, and Sashi was also filming in Chennai those days, shooting with him. Then they called. I got a phone call in a hotel. This is Farooq, this is Father McFarren. You know, I said, "Of course, sir. You know, how are you?" He said, "Are you the same naughty Farooq Engineer? What? Don Bosco, Bombay?" I go, "Yeah, I suppose so." He said, "Well, the students would love you to come to the school tomorrow if you can spare an hour or so, you know." And I said, "How can I say no to my alma mater, you know?" And he said, "Shashi's also in town. I've contacted him. We want to felicitate you both." But we never got the slightest encouragement. Huh? He failed us both in 10th standard also. But next day, Sashi and I, both on the stage, all the school kids, you know, signing autographs and photographs with school kids. Father McFarren came. Don Bosco is proud to have, you know, its pupils like, and the way Don Bosco have encouraged Farooq Engineer to play cricket and Shashi Kapoor to go in his filming. The Shashi and I both looked at each other, "Sala jutto." You know, he discouraged us immensely from playing cricket. But we went along with it. We smiled, you know. So that was the time of our school.
Yeah.
My cricket thing came into force only, I was in my matriculation and I had appeared for my metric exams. However, my mother wanted to be an accountant because my mama was a chief accountant of Tata's, you know. So you always follow your parents' wishes. But at college, I was in the air wing and I learned flying, you know, and I wanted to make flying as my career. So, but I was flying Tiger Moths and Piper Cherokees, and I got my PPL, what they call, you know, private pilot's license. And I was joined to join the Air Force because one of my other uncles was in the Air Force. You know, you must have heard of Air Marshal Engineer and, you know, SP and Minu Engineer. So, I mean, they were like my heroes. I wanted to follow their footsteps. But my mom knew how reckless I was and all that. And from my batch, quite a few people died from the other Parsi colony, you know. So, I mean, mom said, no way. But at the same time, around that time, I was invited to play, you know, test cricket. And I got this fastest century. I was invited to play professional cricket in England. I was the very first Indian to be approached to play professional county cricket in England. Mari pehle league cricket ganar jana ramtara. Polly Umrigar, Ramchand, Natkani and all that. But Lancashire league cricket, ne test cricket ne farak so in league cricket you find one test cricketer and the rest are butchers, bakers, farmers, candlestick makers. The one professional against one professional. Whereas county cricket all khaddus 11 professionals against 11 professionals. So huge difference in standard. And that the ground behind me, you see Old Trafford, that is, you know, I was invited by 4 English counties, you know, Worcestershire, Somerset, Lancashire, and Hampshire. But I chose to play for Lancashire to keep wickets, to get experience to the great Brian Statham, you know, one of the world's fastest bowlers, best bowlers. And I made Lancashire my home. Dil se to desi chaun. Always have been extremely, extremely proud of being an Indian. That is my first thing. Although I'm a Parsi, very proud to be a Parsi, but I'm first Indian, and then a Parsi, And apne Indian hoste ek bol apro to khai jao ye loko nahi hai, Angrez log ne. And that time, there were a lot of rude remarks against Indians. We were bloody Indians those days.
Right.
આજકાલ તો IPL ના પૈસા છે તો બધા આપણું પર સૂંઘીને ચલાવો. They try and make a living. They make a very good living out of India. એટલે બધા India now, આજકાલ બધા India, Australians, New Zealanders, they all got very good millions of dollars they earn in IPL.
Money talks, right?
Money talks. So now આજકાલ India, like, we are the bee's knees. But not those days. Those days we were like, we were bloody Indians.
પણ તમે ફારૂકભાઈ T20 ની વાત કરી, પણ ક્રિકેટ ખીચડીના શ્રોતાને ખાસ કહેવાનું કે જો ફારૂકભાઈ અત્યારે ક્રિકેટ રમતા હોત અને અત્યારે T20 ચાલતું હોત તો T20 ની સાહેબ ખાઈ ગયા હોત. ફારૂકભાઈ, you would have been
Sachin Tendulkar always tells me, what I've heard about you, what I've seen as a kid, you would have been by far the highest earner in the IPL. I said, yeah, but you can't live on memories. Right. I'm 84 and I'm very, very pleased to be alive and breathing. આજે સવારના મને સુનિલ ગાવસ્કરનો મને ફોન આવ્યો.
હાજી.
ને પછી 10 મિનિટ later Dilip Vengsarkarનો ફોન આવ્યો. I keep in touch with all the boys regularly.
Right.
They told me Rahul Mankad passed away today. Which was very sad. I don't know if you all have heard about that.
Yes, I heard about it.
Yeah, in London. And I played with Vinu Mankad, his father.
Oh.
Vinu Bhai and I were very, very close friends. Vinu was great. I think he was one of the greatest all-rounders India has ever produced. Vinu Bhai. Now, what a man. Raja Admi. He died in 60s, early 60s. He passed away sadly. But his sons, Atul,
Ashok.
and Ashok passed away. Now Rahul, very sad in the family too.
All the Mankad boys died in their 60s. All four of them.
Except Rahul today, Yeah.
Right, Rahul. Yeah, that was very sad to hear about.
Yeah. He was 55,
passing away.
Very sad indeed. My condolences to his family, to the Mankad family,
Absolutely. Yes.
Ashok's wife, Nirupama, she was Nirupama Pradhan, a tennis player before. Lovely girl. So Bombay jaun, whenever we meet, there was a function for, and all the cricketers' wives, Eknath Solkar's wife, his wife, Vijay Cricket Wadekar's wife, they all come and we have a photograph together. And, Simolina, try and cheer them up because they've lost their husbands, who are my friends, my colleagues, So that respect is there and always will be there. Anything I can do for any of them, any of the widows, I will always be there to help their children or whatever, because we played with them together.
That is your lion-heartedness, right?
Not lion-hearted, I prefer it.
Right.
But passing on from that, so I was in matriculation, as I was saying. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun and talking, but I'm giving you my
Farooq bhai, this is your
history.
This is your show. Who Archan and Jatin bhai, we are passengers, you are the driver.
So matriculation, there was a professor called Professor Changadkar from Podar College. Podar College in Matunga, near Dadar. But that wasn't a fancy college because all the pretty girls went to St. Xavier's College and Sydenham College and all that. So my aspiration, if I went to college, if I didn't join the Air Force, was to join one of those fancy colleges where all the pretty girls went. બધા લાઈન મારે તો આપણે કઈ લાઈન મારીએ. So but this, in meanwhile, this Professor Changadkar approached me and said, Farooq, I want to build up a cricket team in Podar College. I'm prepared to give you free ship in your college. I was thinking I've been an enough burden to my parents for my school education and all that. And the free ship up here, to kitlo faydo. But that was one thing. Secondly, he said, how have you fared in your SSC exam? And I was surprised. professor मैंने पूछे छे. I said, all right. I wasn't a brilliant student. I was an average student, you know. And but I said, why do you ask? मैंने के very confidentially. अब आखी दुनिया ने बात करूँ छो. Very confident. He said, if you any doubt in any paper, you know, there's always that doubt. You know, you want to pass your SSC exam. If you give me your number, I will make sure that you pass. Oh, Marito, all my friends, you know, I've passed. But anyway, if you promise me that you will join my college, I will make sure you pass in your SSC exam. Professor, I gave him my word. I said, yes, because I wanted to make sure I pass in my exam. As it so happened, I passed with about 52%. You know, आजकल तो 99% बदना Malaysia. I passed 52%. I was very happy, but I gave him my word, and I didn't know what to expect, so I joined Podar College of Commerce and Economics, and to build a cricket team. And there was nobody playing cricket. We had to, on all the Sydenham College, St. Xavier's College, Siddharth College, they were all cricket champions. So I had to build up a team of what was there. And we started from scratch, and we came up after me. People like Dilip Vengsarkar, Sanjay Manjrekar, Ravi Shastri, they all joined Podar College. Akshay Kumar, people actors here. You know, he always told me, Farooq, because you joined Podar College, we joined Podar College. You know? So, I mean, that was the thing that did. And that Podar College, we've been cricketing champions for a long time. Not in my time, but we came into semi-finals and all that, you know, without any cricket team. So that's how. But I was inter-commerce my Dandi Pari. I was in the West Indies. Now, in 3 days, there was the exam. So I thought, exam mein besu ke nahi besu. So there was a professor, Professor Sherlekar. You know, dachu, I'm baat karta tha. You know, don't get me wrong. I'm not, you know, he's deceased, so I don't want to upset his family or anything, you know. But he was the exam paper setter for some economics. So Maneke, you concentrate on these chapters. You know, all the questions will be from these chapters. Day and night burning oil, I memorized all those chapters. Exam magyo, not one question from those chapters. And he was a paper setter. You know, I think I drew a cricket bat or something like that because I didn't know how to answer the other questions.
He bowled a googly.
So I said, Professor, what happened? He said the paper got leaked, so we had to change the paper last minute. I felt like straightening his jaw on the other side. And anyway, that was my Dandi guy, inter-commerce, my senior become Dandi guy. You know, but Karin and I did my Bachelor of Commerce to please my parents more than anything else. But by the time I did that, I was invited to play professional county cricket in England. And I was with Tatas. I was like a management trainee, you know. Because of cricket, I got that job to play for Tatas and all that. So I played Ranji Trophy for Bombay. You know, it was more difficult to come in the Bombay team than the Indian team those days because the standard of Bombay cricket was so high. Out of 11 test cricketers of Bombay, 9 were from Bombay. 9 or 10 were from Bombay. You know, so there was a wicket-keeper called Naren Tamane. He was known as a very safe wicket-keeper. Because jara ball यहाँ जाए, first slip agal jaye यहाँ था, they used to just leave it alone to go to first slip. But unto Parsi Bawa Gando, I used to go not only for first slip, but I used to go for second slip catches. You know, and a lot of them I used to take. With the result, we could have 2 more fielders. I used to, you know, like instead of 11 fielders, I used to cover for 2 fielders on either side in the slips. So we could take wider slips, have additional. So it was a hell of an, you know, addition to the team. So, I mean, that's how I was preferred to Tamane. And I got in the test team. I got in the reserves in 1959, when Jasu Patel took all those wickets against the Australians, remember? I was in the reserves then. Yeah. But Jasubai was my very, very dear friend. And then he took a team to East Africa called Gujarat Cricket Association. Karina. In East Africa, Kenya, Patel and Shah. You know, after the koi divas whiskey pidalo nahi. You know, I was not even started shaving yet. I was like 16, 17. Now, with East Africa, my hospitality, after Gujarati only, was so fantastic. There was a shirt called double two shirts those time, which were like a non-iron wash, that was so attractive colors and all that. The double two shirt, they used to give us presents. We used to stay with Gujarati families. Suryakant Patel na ghar hu rahe log, mane naam bhi yaad se. Such lovely. And I picked up Swahili. I can speak fluent Swahili.
વાવ
તમે બોલો છો Swahili?
ના મને એક બે
Jambo,
શબ્દ આવડે છે
Habariako, Muzurisana, Sawa Sawa Kabisa, Lete Maji City, Lete Maji Bridi Sana. City was a beer. Lete Maji Bridi City Sana, Asante Sana, thank you. Koheri, goodbye. And so from the servants there, and from the people. I was fascinated by the Swahili language. So I speak Swahili quite fluently. I can make a conversation in Swahili,
વાવ
which I'm sure a lot of viewers might understand, But, and I found the East African people so, like Kenya, and I played one World Cup match. I batted only once because Sunil Gavaskar batted at Lords and batted for 60 overs and got 20 runs or something like that. He decided to get batting practice for some strange reason, So next game, I opened the innings with Sunil. We both got 50s, but I think I got in about 15 balls and he got in about, So I got the man of the match. So only time I've batted in a World Cup, I got the man of the match award, but that was against East Africa. So mostly Kenyans. But some of them are still alive, Raman Patel and all these guys. I used to keep in touch with them regularly because I've toured East Africa several times afterwards. Itlo prem thi, itli hospitality. Apro Gujarati, Gujarati and Parsi log, we have someone. Without y'all, we wouldn't have been admitted to India. You heard of the story about the sugar.
Yeah,
Shakhan Nakina. We said we'll sweeten the community. But y'all gave us the opportunity. So I thank everyone in the Gujarati community for allowing us to come to India. Nita kya jata main logo, So I can imagine all the refugees. Aajkal badhu tamasha chale che badhu. Ukraine ne vaste badhu. I have a lot of sympathy for people, and I will do anything I can to help them also. So
શાહરુખ ભાઈ આપણી જોડે
I joined Podar College because I gave my word to professor, and that was the start. But I was invited by 4 counties in England. But we used to get 50 rupees a day at playing Test cricket. 50 rupees a day. Myself and Sunil Gavaskar beating New Zealand in 4 days. We had to get 15-20 runs. The way we were going, we would have got it in 5 minutes. But all sorts of messages were coming from the dressing room. Arey, aaj game mat khatam karo, kal ka 50 rupees jayenge hamare karke. So we started blocking, New Zealand people ne baat karke match khalas karna ko nahi bhai, kal na 50 rupees jaisa hamara. But what a cheer when 1 or 2 runs were left to get the next day. Ke salu te 50 rupees malya per teammate. Those were the days.
No,
we never
amazing.
played for money. You played for the pride of playing for your country, and you played for love of the game, which was cricket.
Right.
So these are the things.
No,
That, in the meanwhile, Brill Cream
Bill Cream,
came-
yes, tell us about Bill
came
Cream.
over. There was Keith Miller from Australia, flamboyant all-rounder, one of the most good-looking guys who ever played cricket. Then there was Dennis Compton from England, who was a double international football. And so to be invited to model for Brill Cream was being like on the cover page of Vogue magazine those days, the magazine of the world. It was a huge, huge, huge thing to be invited to model for Brill Cream those days. So I was the third person. I was shocked by me, but it was great because that's my first taste of decent money, really. I got £2,500 for one photograph and one little advertisement. And the Brill Cream sales in India absolutely shot up like they went through the roof. कि भाई Farooq Engineer uses it. आपने तो कोई वापरेलू भी नहीं, you know. आपने तो खाली advertising करता था. But Brill Cream sales, effective of marketing, went through the roof. They were so happy, Brill Cream, that they said throughout your life career, don't model for any other hair cream except Brill Cream, you know. And so my contract was with them. They say if you bat without a cap or keep, because without a cap you'll get 100 pounds more or something like that. I used to bat without a cap in any case. मैं कहा आप और बीजा 100 pound. All my friends used to say, अरे एक bottle मिल सके bottle. अरे bottle सु डब्बा ले जाओ आपका. My mother used to say क्या मुक्सो अपने घर में. अपने तो नानू घर, you know, दादा पारसी कॉलोनी में. So कोई bottle मांगे तो I used to give a whole case कि भाई बाहर bottle ले जाओ. But that was the phenomenal thing. Chowpatty par, you've been to Chowpatty, na? The
Yes.
posters hai at the dual carriageway across the thing, where Bollywood movies get, you know, that is the biggest hoarding in Bombay. I think it stretches about 100 yards or something like that. No? With big poster, big picture of me with Brill Cream and all, you know. So I mean, it was like so I just got to be known as the Brill Cream boy, really, you know. But it was fantastic. Those days, memories, lovely memories.
લવલી મેમરી. ફારૂકભાઈ, આપણી જોડે અર્ચન મહેતા અને જતીનભાઈ પણ છે. તો
Yeah, I've been seeing them.
જતીનભાઈને આપણે એક ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી આપીએ કે તમને સવાલ કરે. જતીનભાઈ,
Jarur. Jatinbhai, by the way, I must thank you and congratulate you for the wonderful work you do. You do a lot of coaching, you know, youngsters and all that, which is a
જતીનભાઈ,
fantastic job.
તમારી વાત કરી હતી ફારૂકભાઈને, તમે જોઈન થયા પહેલા. I was telling Farooq about you and what kind of yeoman work you do for the community.
I've got a charity for homeless children in India, and hopefully, with God's grace, I'm going to be in Chicago for one night. Detroit, myself, Sunil Gavaskar, Kapil Dev, and Clive Lloyd and Vishwanath. We've been invited when Nilesh Bhai is joining us. But before that, on the 27th, I hopefully, Nilesh Bhai, make brochure prepare karo, yeah. Get little booklet, you know, with some ads, so the homeless children can benefit
we will,
from
we
it,
will.
you know,
Definitely
which will be great.
Absolutely,
And,
we will.
you know,
ના એ
So
થઈ
if you-
જશે, ચોક્કસ થઈ જશે.
if you
એની
can do
ચિંતા ના
something.
અને બાય ધ વે પ્રેક્ષકોને જાણ માટે ફરોક એન્જિનિયર ઇન્ડિયા માટે તો રમ્યા, ગુજરાતી જોડે કનેક્શન છે, ગુજરાતી બોલી શકે, પણ અમેરિકાની અંદર જો તમે વસતા હોય તો એ ક્રિકેટ હોલ ઓફ ફેમ યુએસએ ના પણ ઇન્ડક્ટી છે.
Yes,
ભૂતકાળ.
I'm inducted in the USA Hall of
Ne-
Fame. Yes.
બાય ધ વે ફરોકભાઈ, હું 2020 માં ઇન્ડક્ટી થયો અને રિસેન્ટલી થ્રુ ધ માઇકલ ચેમ્બર્સ ને ડાલ્ટન જેમ્સ ની કમિટીએ મને અપોઇન્ટ કર્યો છે. હું પહેલો સાઉથ એશિયન છું ક્રિકેટ હોલ ઓફ ફેમ ની
Very
કમિટીમાં.
good.
અને હવે આપણો આગલો પ્લાન છે એની અંદર કે વર્લ્ડનું મોટા મોટું મ્યુઝિયમ બનાવવાનું ક્રિકેટનું યુએસએ માં.
Jarur.
અને એ ટાઈમે મેક શ્યોર કરીશું કે આપણા જે લેજેન્ડ્સ છે એને જે રિસ્પેક્ટ મળવી જોઈએ લાઈફ ટાઈમ માટે હિસ્ટોરિકલ, એ આપણે ચોક્કસ
ભગવાનની
કરવાનું.
મહેરબાનીથી થશે બધું.
અને તમારી જે કોઈ હેલ્પ જોઈતી હોય યુએસએ સાઈડ અમને રીચ આઉટ કરી શકો છો, મને કે માઇકલ ચેમ્બર્સ ને, અને વિલ બી હેપી ટુ હેલ્પ યુ.
Thank
જે
you.
બી
If you can help me with this function in Chicago,
Yeah.
if you can help Nilesh Bhai, because Nilesh Bhai is a doctor, sir. He's not a businessman or something. But he doesn't know where to start, he told me yesterday. I said, but that's the question of getting a few friends, few well-wishers together to put in, you know, so,
ના આપણે
like if you get like $1,000 for a page or something like that, and they
આપણે
can join us for dinner.
we will get that organized, Farooq.
રાઈટ રાઈટ.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you can do that, it'll be lovely.
Yeah,
We can have a head start. Before I come there, we can have a little kitty of, you know, cushion. But see, I'll bring some items for auction or,
Right.
you know, whatever. There are liaise Karuni, there are
ના
form
હું
committee with you, Jatin
ફરોકભાઈ,
Bhai,
ફરોકભાઈ, લગભગ તમારે
Archan Bhai. San Jose માં તો ઘણા છે.
એપો
But
જોઈતી હશે હું આપીશ, ચિંતા ના કરો એની. We will get it done. We'll get it done.
Thank you. Thank
We'll
you.
make sure that we raise the money for you.
Thank you. For me,
ના મારી તરફથી કોઈ
little
સવાલ
bit,
તો
and
નથી.
for mainly for the homeless children in India.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Archan,
ભાઈ, અર્ચણ ને જવા દો કે મારી પાસે કોઈ સવાલ નથી. I know very well ફરોકભાઈ and the history because I was following since I was 10-year-old kid. અને by the way રાહુલ માંકડ જોડે એની સામે હું ગેમ રમેલો 82 માં.
Chalo, very sad day today.
Yeah.
Young boy.
રમેલો because they were playing for Mafatlal and I used to be in a net
બરાબર છે.
practice.
એ લોકો બધા મફતલાલ ના.
રામ હરકા.
પછી નિર્લોન સિન્થેટિક્સ સુધી સુનિલ ગાવસ્કર લોકો વિરેનજી સાગર એ બધું.
અને ફારૂકભાઈ માંકડ પરિવાર એટલે એ લોકો નાગર અને અર્ચન અને હું
નાગર
અમે
બ્રાહ્મણ.
બંને લોકો નાગર ગ્રહસ્થ એટલે નાગરોને તો વિનુ માંકડ અને એમનું આખું ફેમિલી માટે પુષ્કળ ગર્વ છે. અને તમે કહ્યું એ પ્રમાણે સર્ટનલી અ વેરી સેડ ડે કે આજે
Indeed.
we lost
My heartfelt
a good man
condolences.
and of course
Yeah.
our condolences to the entire Mankad family. With that, Archan,
હા ચોક્કસ
નિલેશભાઈ હું તમને પૂછું આ બધા ફોટો છે સુનિલ ગાવસ્કર ને બધા મારું પિક્ચર ક્યાં છે પાછળ?
હવે આપણે તમે આવશો ત્યારે શિકાગોમાં
હા.
લઈશું ફારૂકભાઈ.
હાર્ટમાં છે દેખાતું નથી અત્યારે
અહીંયા
હાર્ટમાં
છે.
એટલા માટે.
જો જો
અહીંયા છે.
ના ફરોકભાઈ
Let's-
મેક શ્યોર કરવાનું છે તમારું મારે પોસ્ટર બી જોઈશે હોલ ઓફ ફેમ ના મ્યુઝિયમ માટે. એટલે તમારી નેક્સ્ટ વિઝિટમાં અમે પ્રોફેશનલી ફોટોગ્રાફ તમારા લેવાના છીએ. એટલે
જરૂર
થોડા
સાહેબ.
સેફટી થઈને આવજો. હાઉ અબાઉટ ધેટ?
તમે are you going to be in Chicago?
100% આવશે.
I will meet you either in Chicago or Detroit, either one. કારણ કે હું 3 કલાક જ દૂર છું શિકાગોથી.
હા.
પણ I'll make up.
આપણે ફારૂકભાઈ તમે સ્વાહિલીની વાત કરી એટલે ફર્સ્ટ ઓફ ઓલ તો નફુરાહી કોકુના એટલે વેરી નાઇસ ટુ મીટ યુ.
Thank you.
અને ગુજરાતીમાં કહેવાય છે કે જિંદગીમાં કોઈ વસ્તુનો અંત નથી થતો, હંમેશા એક નવી શરૂઆત તમારી રાહ જોતી હોય છે. આપણે તમારી સેકન્ડ ઇનિંગ ઇન અ વે વિથ બીબીસી કોમેન્ટ્રી અને હમણાં નેટફ્લિક્સ પર મૂવી આવી છે 83 જેમાં બોમન ઈરાનીએ
He's playing my part.
is playing your part.
Sure,
તેમાંથી મને ખબર પડી રિગાર્ડિંગ કે I was the man of the match of the game. એટલે પછી I found out that he's talking about you.
Baman actually came and stayed at my house to study my mannerisms, to study everything. He came to the World Cup. તે દિવસે તમે Old Trafford પર ઉતારી World Cup માં.
હા, he was
નિલેશભાઈ,
there?
તો Baman was my guest in the president's box.
Oh, okay, okay.
Baman ઉતા પછી પેલું સૈફ અલી ખાન ને બધા અનિલ કપૂર ને બધા ઉતા હતા. આખું બોલિવૂડ આવેલું. અંબાની family, I have the highest regard for Mukesh Bhai because Dhirubhai Ambani was a very dear friend of mine. Mukesh, Anil's father. So I used to know Mukesh and Anil as youngsters. And I must say, લોકો respect રાખ્યું છે, and they know, and they do such wonderful philanthropic work and all that. So I salute the Ambani family, the lovely, lovely family, બધા.
એટલે a question is regarding tell us about your commentary days and especially you were the one witness of 175 runs for Kapil Dev.
Sure. One thing they forgot to mention in that 83 movie, one very important thing they forgot to mention. So while I was commentating, Brian Johnston asked me about India were about to win. Farooq, would Mrs. Gandhi declare a public holiday? That is a big error the film people have done. They forgot to mention that. I don't know why. But maybe they didn't have the time to do it. That would have been such a good addition to the thing. Would India, Mrs. Gandhi declare a public holiday? So Mrs. Gandhi is an avid, BBC commentary listener, test match special listener. I'm sure she will be listening to us and declare a public holiday. To our surprise in the commentator's box, within 10 minutes, we got a phone call through to BBC headquarters and onto the commentator's box at Lord's in the turret where we used to sit. Okay, Mrs. Gandhi has in fact heard your comments and declared a public holiday. Mari to fati gayi yaar, bilkul ka sir. You say a remark off the cuff and the Prime Minister of India. So when I met Mrs. Gandhi in there, when few months later, she said, Farooq, thank you. You helped me get a few more votes. She said, declaring public holiday and reminding me. But but I wish they had shown that part. Yes, Baman Irani played my part with my sideburns and all that. And There are a lot of comments, but most people, do they realize he was actually playing my part? Only the cricket enthusiasts would know that.
I think
But
the cricket
Absolutely,
enthusiasts would know that.
absolutely.
Hmm? And they mentioned once or
Absolutely.
twice Farooq on the screen and all that, I saw it once. I was invited,
Farooq bhai, I grew up listening to BBC with John Arlott, Brian Johnston,
John Arlott, Brian Johnson, they were the greatest people. There were one or two comedians also. Henry Blofeld.
Henry Blofeld.
Henry Blofeld,
cricket
yes.
He used to talk about red buses. There were the, pink saris. There was the Bairao Kush. But cricket no kai ban nahi hoto.
Henry.
The Gonos Saro Manas bini. More anti-Indian. More anti-Indian hoto. Yeah. There was Christopher Martin Jenkins. Again, a brilliant commentator and a very good man.
Yeah. Farooq bhai, talking about CMJ, I'll tell you my personal story. I was at the Oval covering one match in the press box, and I was going down to another location, and I ran into CMJ. Mr. Jenkins, I have been a huge fan of your BBC commentary. They said, what do you do, son, for a living? I said, as a passion, I cover cricket for a newspaper and I write columns intermittently. But my profession is I'm an oncologist and a cancer specialist. I said, you do a far better job. Keep doing what you're doing. And, unfortunately, as you probably know, Mr. Jenkins passed away.
Oh, CMJ died.
Diagnosis.
But he was a lovely person.
An amazing guy. And at the
but
time
I commentated for Test Match Special when there was Brian Johnston. John Arlott was primarily responsible for me playing county cricket. Huh?
Okay.
He was the first person to approach me on behalf of Hampshire. He Bojole and a gare mane bulavi na Bojole piravi na mane ke bas to Hampshire no was sign kar kaine. Meko kam to bicha bhi nati kido county cricket. Meko when do you play county cricket? You should play 7 days a week. So meko 7 days a week cricket match. When does one work? Kaam kya karo cha kaine. So mane kano this is professional cricket. You play 7 days a week cricket. But that's why Hampshire. Then Don Kenyon from Worcestershire got to know I was interested in playing, or I was offered. So he offered me a contract from Worcestershire. But Somerset, Dennis Atkinson was there. They offered me a contract with Somerset. But Lancashire were on the last on the list. And we played a game at Southport, not at Old Trafford, because it was waterlogged at Old Trafford. So there was an opening bowler for Lancashire, who I kept on hitting for railway lines were not too far. I hit him for about 10, 12 sixes, till I realized that was the great Brian Statham, and I felt, we Indians are very apologetic. At tea time, when somebody said that was the great Brian Statham, you were hitting all over the place, I had to apologize to him. I felt bad. I said, because we are brought up to respect elder cricketers.
True.
But
Farooq bhai,
we want you to come and play for Lancashire, and do the hitting there. We need people like you and all that. So that's how Lancashire were interested in me and offered me a contract.
Farooq bhai,
We had so much success the first year.
Yeah.
Actually, Gary Sobers, sorry, I'm talking over you.
No, please.
Gary Sobers and I were initially invited to play for Lancashire. Initially there were 6 cricketers from all over the world. Mike Proctor from South Africa, Rohan Kanhai, again from the West Indies, Gary Sobers from the West Indies, Pachi Bijakon, Alvin Kalicharan from Warwickshire also. So 6 cricketers were invited. We had so much success, and Gary Sobers and Lancashire couldn't agree to terms. He wanted Lancashire to pay off his betting debts. Betting and he owed a lot of money in betting. So Lancashire said, we don't get involved with betting. To Bale BG County Maja, we got Farooq Engineer here, a special registration. So he went and played for Nottinghamshire, Gary. So I had to suggest a replacement for Gary Sobers for the year later, who had to qualify playing in the Lancashire League. So I recommended the name of Clive Lloyd, because I was very impressed. He had got a double century against us, and brilliant fielder and all that. And who's one of my dearest friends now also, because we were roommates for 10 years that I was with Lancashire. And I recommended Amaro Cyril Washbrook Karine. He was our cricket chairman, the great England opening batsman. But Farooq, he wears glasses. Never mind his glasses, Mr. Washbrook. Sign him on, you won't regret it. And they signed him on purely on my recommendation. And Clive knows that. He's thankful to me. So they went, you are the one who got me in Lancashire. So he came a year later, and we formed a formidable partnership. Batting, we lit up. We were the Manchester United of cricket. Lancashire, the whole country started supporting Lancashire. And all the Indians automatically became Lancashire supporters because I was playing for. All the West Indians became Lancashire because Clive Lloyd was playing. We started getting packed audience. Do you see Old Trafford behind me?
Yes.
There were packed audiences. This is just for a county game. And we used to get packed in Sunday League. But see, Rothman's Cavaliers started a Sunday league. We didn't play county cricket on Sundays. Sundays were free. So Rothman's had a brilliant idea. They got hold of myself, Clive, Gary Sobers, Rowan Canai, Mike Proctor, all entertainers of cricket, to play in all seaside towns in England, like Brighton, Hastings, Southport, and all that. And we used to pack audiences. And John Player got the idea from there and started the John Player Sunday League. So with everything, but first it was Rothman's Cavaliers, and then John Player League took cigarette companies too. I was never a smoker, but we played for these things. And that's how the Sunday League came into operation. But the Gillette Cup, Gillette got, we were the champions of everything. And Lancashire was the team. Those days.
બે બીજા ક્વેશ્ચન છે ફારૂક ભાઈ. આપણે India's World Cup wins, right? 1983. You've witnessed it. You have.
Sure. You were
been a
asking about
huge part
Kapil's
of it.
175.
And Kapil's 175
against Zimbabwe. This was in Kent, at Canterbury.
Tunbridge Wells.
Tunbridge Wells.
And there I was commentating. The way Indian batsmen are losing wickets, 6 wicket down or something for nothing, something like that.
Right.
Next to nothing.
17 for 5. 17 for 5.
Anyway, Kapil was one man I had a lot of hopes in. He's a fighter, and what a fighter he proved that day. From a losing game, completely lost battle, he single-handedly won that match for India. Single-handedly, bilkul. Had it not been for his innings, we would have not qualified for them. We would have been on our way home. But the way he fought, and at every opportunity, I used to go in the dressing room. Commentators' box and dressing room were next to each other. I said, "Come on, boys, we've got runs on board. They've got to get them." The way I was encouraging the team mates and all that, and Kapil always tells me, your encouragement as a senior cricketer, you were giving us. There was no other senior cricketer for them to look up upon except me, Indian cricketer. So I used to encourage them immensely, Mohinder Amanath and all the boys. So we had a lot of luck winning that 83 World Cup, without a doubt. But we made our luck. We deserved it too.
બરાબર છે. અને મને આન્સર
But
ખબર છે, પણ I just
some
wanted
people
to-
think, Archan bhai, some people think that was the start of Indian cricket's renaissance. They were wrong. They were wrong. Absolutely wrong. You also were under the impression, looks like it, because you're surprised. In 71, we beat England in England.
Yes.
We beat West Indies in West Indies. We beat Australia in Australia. We didn't play South Africa, and we didn't play Pakistan those days. South Africa because apartheid, and talking about apartheid, myself and Clive Lloyd were both offered, when we played for Lancashire, Ali Backer offered us £100,000 each to go and play in South Africa, to coach whites and non-whites. But the very fact that we would be supporting the white apartheid regime. So we had to turn down $100,000 tax-free, payable anywhere in the world. And we had to turn that down. Clive and I always think, but people like Mike Gatting, Boycott, both they were earning big sums of money, blood money, which we could have easily earned, but we turned down. Why should we go and support them?
બરાબર છે.
That was the thing.
રાઈટ. અને ટોકિંગ 83 અને to me, I lived lot more of 2011 World Cup victory versus 83. But I just want to hear from you. How do you compare both of them, and which one do you, in your mind, is sweeter?
Well, I think both are very creditable because in 83 we were underdogs, whereas 2011 we were more or less favorites with people like Tendulkar and Dhoni and, I don't know, was Virat in the team those days?
Virat હતો, હા.
Yeah. So we had a very, very good side that time, and but 83 where we were underdogs and we won that time. Of course, we had a lot of luck, but fortune favors the brave. Kapil Dev, fantastic innings, fantastic all-rounder, in English bolona wanda, but which was so much loved by his teammates and all that, And I think 83 movie is a lovely movie. I wish that incorporated my involvement more or something like that, but Baman played a very good part. Baman Irani played my very good part there. And Baman and I speak to each other on the phone. Bhai Baraba acting ki dini tara jayi.
Farooq bhai,
અરે આજ બી તમે compare કરો કે where do you see Farooq Engineer's glimpses in today's cricketers, if you want to talk about whether India or abroad? It doesn't
Unfortunately,
matter.
people have very short memories.
Hmm.
You're as good as your last innings. People will remember more the 0 I got against West Indies in my last match. Then, Don Bradman has got a pair also, They forget that in his last, but they forget that. But આજકાલ no audience, મારી age na બધા ગુજરી ગયેલા છે, unfortunately. એટલે memories are fading more and more. But you don't expect to live on memories, I mean, it's all documented in books and all that. But I just wish younger cricketers all the best. My advice is for young cricketers to enjoy your cricket. The more you enjoy it, the better you'll play, the more relaxed you'll be, And આજકાલ IPL, but people, some family, amara time ma to, when a boy was born in a family, the family wanted the boy to be either a Bollywood actor or a test cricketer. આજકાલ the test cricketer takes precedence because they make more money than Bollywood stars. With the IPL has changed the whole scenario. I was the very first match referee in the IPL at Eden Gardens. First match that was televised. And Billy Bowden, with the umpire with the bent finger there, he wanted to call the game off because there was a wet patch on certain, but I said, over my dead body, you will pay, because the whole world wanted IPL to fail. But they're jealous, Aprati, and the whole world, cricketing world, watching how will IPL succeed. Tamasha બધું કીધું છે, બધું મોટી વાત કરી છે Indians. And that game, Brendan McCallum scored a brilliant
151.
Brilliant knock. And that IPL took off from that day. That was the birth of the IPL, televised game. The whole world saw it, and sponsors were attracted, players were attracted from all over the world. And, so that was the start of the IPL. And I was the match referee, the first match referee there.
very nice.
Great. Modi did a fantastic job, American. I mean, with the ideas, Tana.
Right.
But BCCI saw that આપલા બધા પૈસા છે, let's get involved ourselves. એટલે BCCI have taken over now, IPL. And IPL is continuing to flourish. It's the biggest franchise tournament, by far the biggest in the world. Pakistanis have tried to copy it. Caribbean have Big Bash and all that. But, Bangladesh have, Sri Lanka have, but IPL to IPL.
Farooq bhai,
Will never be.
I have two last questions before we wrap up આપણું ક્રિકેટ ખીચડી. એક તો પારસી કમ્યુનિટી અને કોન્ટ્રીબ્યુશન ટુ ક્રિકેટ. આપણે પોલી ઉમરીગર, ઋષિ સુરતી, કોન્ટ્રાક્ટર, પણ એમ કે આર યુ સરપ્રાઇઝ ફારૂક ભાઈ કે વધારે પાસે અરઝાન નાગવાસવાલા છે? અરઝાન ઇઝ અ ગુડ બોય. વી હેવ સ્પોકન.
He's a very nice boy, yeah.
અને પણ આર યુ સરપ્રાઇઝ કે વધારે પારસી છોકરાઓ કે છોકરીઓ એટ અ નેશનલ લેવલ ક્રિકેટમાં આવ્યા નથી?
It is surprising and sad at the same time, because we Parsis were the first cricket team to tour England. The Indian team
1886,
consisted of
yeah.
Parsis. All 11 Parsis were there. Parsi team toured England. We came in more contact with the Britishers because I think we perhaps spoke the language better. They were more enterprising in business, and British people gave Parsis more, they felt more at home with the Parsis than with anyone else. They were and our surnames also emanated from profession. Daruwala, engineer, Nagwaswala, ખબર નથી સુવાસ સૂકતા હતા એ લોકો. But Arzad, as you said, is a very good boy, very good player, very good bowler.
Very good
But
left hand bowler.
Yeah, but
અમે એને
I
ક્રિકેટ
don't know if
હિસ્ટ્રીમાં વાત
he'll,
કરી છે. Yes.
I don't know if he'll, play Test cricket, but he came so close to it, really.
Yeah.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I hope he does. But there is, but it's so much. But Parsis, yes, Paulie Umriga was my idol. But Nari contractor and Paulie Umriga were my two captains. But Rusi Surti, Rusi Surti, English bowler ne ekdam wanda. Kapil Dev ti kharab hoto hai. And her favorite words were, "Ena bapnu sung you karida." So Bill Lawry was batting at CCI. Prasanna bowled one down the leg side, and he tried to hit it and he missed it. So ene gali api. He was cursing himself for this Australians swear at everything. And Surti was fielding at short leg. He turned his back naturally, but the ball was, he thought the batsman was going to hit it. The એને લોરી નું જરા બી બનતું હતું નહીં. એ લોકો મારામારી આખો એ લોકોને આર્ગ્યુમેન્ટ કરતા હતા. હવે લોરી ઓસ્ટ્રેલિયન બોલે, ઇંગ્લિશ વર્ડ એક બોલ સમજે નહીં રૂસી. રૂસી બી એને બ્રોકન ઇંગ્લિશમાં શું બોલે તો લોરી નહીં સમજતો હતો. તો નેચરલી there was argument. તો એનું ફેવરેટ એક્સપ્રેશન એના બાપનું શું ગયું કરીને. તો when Laurie cursed himself, પેલો સુરતી એના અંગ પર ગયો કે why are you cursing me કરીને. The Laurie Maneke tell this idiot, I'm not cursing him, I'm cursing my own self for missing 6 runs or 4 runs in Test cricket. You don't get many loose balls in Test cricket. So I Rusi tune nathi ga rakto. The Rusi no pulo na bap no sugyo. The Englishman Laurie no join ke whose father what goes. I couldn't keep wickets for the rest of the afternoon. Hasi ne mari gaya हम लोग Empire State Building में उता. First time New York गया तो रूसी ने लिफ्ट में उतार. मैं को रूसी लिफ्ट वो आस्ते चाले छे. जरा हैंडल दबाओ कि जरा फास्टर जाए. करेगा हैंडल दबाओ तो रूसी कि लिफ्ट फास्टर जाए तो. पर very good cricketer, very talented cricketer, But so we 4 Parsis played for India. I was the last Parsi, and I don't want to be the last Parsi. I wish somebody would come and take my place.
Arzan has the potential. He's knocking on the
now
door.
he's how old is he?
He's a young kid. He's a young boy. And he's got the
he's not all
dedication.
that young,
He's a 24 right now.
Yeah, young chokro che.
chalo.
And
But a
he has
fast
the
bowler's
potential.
life. A fast bowler has to be playing Test cricket at that age,
Yeah.
But he's doing all right with Mumbai Indians. Arjun, check Mumbai Indians out there.
ના
નથી,
નથી
he was not
IPL
picked.
માં નથી.
He was
Huh?
not picked by any team. આ વર્ષે અરઝાન ને પિક કરવામાં નતો આવ્યો.
That's very sad,
Yeah.
But I'm like
He's part of
village
India
માં-
A.
Huh?
He's part of India A, પણ
Chalo.
India A teams, but not for IPL.
which is surprising.
Yeah, actually ગયા વર્ષે આપણે જ્યારે India was touring England ત્યારે જય શાહ સેક્રેટરી ઓફ BCCI એ જયને ફોન કરીને ન્યૂઝ આપ્યા હતા કે ભાઈ we want you to be in England as a net bowler because your
I
value
know.
as a left
I
arm-
met him here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Several.
Farooq bhai,
I've not actually met him, but I've spoken to him on the phone.
right. Farooq bhai, મારે તમને I want to pick your brain about cricket commentators because
Right.
growing up, I listened to a lot of BBC, a lot of Tony Cozier. But MK Brian Johnson, Alan McGillivray, Tony Cozier, John Arlott, of course, Farooq Engineer. These
Christopher
are
Martin
amongst
Jenkins.
the
These are the best.
CMJ. તમારો favorite commentator કોણ હતો?
Brian Johnston,
Brian Johnson.
from who I've worked with. and Christopher Martin Jenkins, both. Because I worked with John Arlott was the king of them all. And after Bombay Mauto, Bobby Talyar Khan, AFS Talyar Khan, he was brilliant. He wrote brilliantly, at level. But you do commentating also, no?
Yes, I do.
Television and radio is completely different. In radio, you have to describe everything, but people don't see it. But in television commentating, you don't talk as much because people can see, so you talk, in such a way that you imagine people are already watching it. No point repetition,
Right.
or no point saying what people already know. You tell them things, different things and all that. So it's a different commentating. I have enjoyed it immensely. I would have done a lot more commentating had I not had that anti-Indian complex. Henry Blofeld Salo always tried to put me down, and Peter Baxter, he was the producer. Maybe Boarami Huto Salo. Otherwise I would have done a lot more commentating.
ફારૂકભાઈ, તમે ક્રિકેટ ખીચડીના શોમાં આવ્યા અને આટલું બધું નોલેજ તમે આજે ઇમ્પાર્ટ કર્યું અને ક્રિકેટ ખીચડીના શ્રોતાઓને આજે એક જલસા પડી ગયા કે ફારૂકભાઈ એન્જિનિયર જેવી ક્રિકેટની હસ્તી જોડે જતીનભાઈ, અર્ચન અને હું તમારી જોડે આટલી સરસ સુંદર વાતો કરી, કેટલી બધી વાર્તાઓ સાંભળી. અને બિફોર આઈ એન્ડ ધ શો, I want you to have the last word for our cricket khichdi fans. Farooq bhai.
Well, Cricket Khichdi fan, God bless you all. Keep on listening to Cricket Khichdi. There are entertaining shows like this one. I hope I've entertained you all. Been factual. I've been honest. I don't know. I'm an honest person, basically. And whatever I say comes from the heart.
Yeah.
And I'm sure every person you interview, Nilesh or Jatin or Archon, would speak the same way from the heart, and I hope we have a wider audience besides just the four of us. I hope this goes to many people, and keep on supporting. You're doing a great job supporting cricket in a country where cricket is not all that popular, but with our community, our Asian community, especially Gujarati community, I think must be dominating in America, especially in the Silicon Valley. I have my relatives in San Jose as well,
ચોક્કસ તમારું બીજું ઘર જ છે અહીંયા. તમે જ્યારે અહીંયા આવો ત્યારે ચોક્કસ
Thank you.
આવજો.
I've been to San Jose a couple of times. Kaji Bankim Kaji, Gujarat. My niece is married to Gujarati.
Okay.
Very. He was in he's in Silicon Valley. He sold his business, I think, you guys are all multimillionaires there. So try and get Archan's help, Nilesh, for my charity.
Certainly.
Archan, please get together some people
Absolutely.
to contribute some
Absolutely.
sums of money, which will help homeless children in India.
Absolutely.
I'll be very grateful to you for that. Jatin Bhai is all supporting us also. So please spread the word around.
Yes, we will.
And help Nilesh Bhai, because Nilesh Bhai is not a businessman. He's
Sure,
an oncologist specialty. Jatin Bhai, please help Nilesh
ના
Bhai
ના
get some.
ચોક્કસ તમને હું છે ને સેન હોઝેમાં પણ ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ કરી આપીશ, જે આપણા
Please.
ક્રિકેટમાં જે હેવીલી ઇન્વોલ્વ થયેલા છે.
Please.
અને જે લોકોએ ભૂતકાળમાં મને ઇમરાન ખાન વખતે અને બીજા 3-4 ફંક્શનોમાં હેલ્પ કરેલી, we have the good reach out, and
I
I'll
helped
put you in
Imran Khan
contact. Absolutely.
when he was collecting money for his hospital in his mother's name.
Yeah,
Dilip
2001
Kumar
માં
said,
મેં
I
help
was Manchester.
કરેલી, yeah. Cancer
I helped
Society.
him get
Yep.
Nice.
several people. So please, Bulina Jata, after this conversation,
No, certainly not.
remember
Farooq bhai,
27th of
July. Yes.
July.
Yes.
And please help. I'm counting on you, Jatin Bhai and Arjun Bhai,
No
to
problem.
help Dr.
Farooq
Nilesh
bhai,
Bhai.
on behalf of Cricket Khichdi, we owe you a debt of gratitude and immense
Absolute pleasure.
thank you, Farooq bhai. Thank you for
God bless
joining
you
us. Cricket Khichdi ne તમે શોમાં આવ્યા એની બદલ thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you all.
જ્યાં જ્યાં વસે ગુજરાતી ત્યાં ત્યાં વસે ગુજરાત હે જ્યાં જ્યાં વસે ગુજરાતી ત્યાં ત્યાં વસે ગુજરાત અમે ગુજરાતી લહેર